Hey guys, One Second here, bringing another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video, and so I'm continuing on here doing a couple of videos basically comparing some of the best teams in the game by taking them up against the Blue Zone Blue Gogeta, Blue Zone Beast Gohan, and then the second stage of the Cell Max event. To see how these teams will stack up against those three bosses, considered three of the hardest bosses. Obviously, Kid Buu is kind of in there, but he's a bit of an anomaly. I mean, some of these units now, like Beast Gohan, the Blue Evolution, and Blue Kaioken Easy Ace, do make like slight work of him now. You can obviously nuke him in the first two turns, so I'm not sure if he would still be considered in that like top three of the three toughest fights, but these are all the ones that come as part of the anniversary content that shaped like a new meta when they released on JP. So those are the three that we're doing. Now, the goal for the videos is to use the same team. Now, obviously, I realize like when you're building a team to beat a specific event, or if you're trying to beat a specific mission, you're not always going to use the exact same set of characters. But for the sake of having the team comparisons to these other teams and seeing how well they do in all these events, I am tried to build a team that I can ideally use for all three of the events and see how well they get on. So this is going to be our build for the superhero team. Now, obviously for me, I don't have the gammas, so straight away you could argue that there is a flaw in the team building in terms of if we're trying to build the most optimal superhero team for global, maybe we would include them, maybe we would drop someone and include STR Gamma as well to go with them, who knows. And of course, one big thing I wanted to do is to try and differentiate between the Reps of Universe 7 team, because obviously a lot of the best units on that team are also on superhero, but the goal of our superhero team build is that we want to use Beast Gohan in slot 1 on both rotations, so ideally we want to bring characters that link well with him. So UI Goku, for example, is here because he does have 4 links with Gohan, he's on his 200% lead, but like Blue Evolution Vegeta, for example, only shares a couple of links with Beast Gohan and only gets his 170 lead. So even though he's still more than good enough on that team because he's such a good unit, I kind of wanted this to keep to as many of the actual like 200% superhero units as we could, because obviously Beast Gohan doesn't just have superhero as his leader skill as well. So this is just a very specific team build, but without any more, we are just going to jump straight in and go into the Blue Gogeta fight first of all. Okay, so we're going to start off with versus Blue Gogeta, see how we get on. Now, this is what we're saying with the Reps team, is that when it comes to this team, Beast Gohan can definitely do a lot of work when it comes to not only damage, but also defensive capability. But of course, his defense comes from him just tanking the hits, whereas UI Goku's are obviously going to be dodging. And the problem is when we get into these stages like this where the enemy boss is going to seal or stun you with their super attack, Beast Gohan can obviously tank the super for not a lot of damage, but is going to end up getting stunned or sealed if you get slot 1 supered. So fortunately that did not happen here, but that is something to bear in mind in a lot of these events where defensively Beast Gohan is going to always be consistent, but there will be turns where he's not going to be able to get off like all of these big attacks, right? Because I mean, he did half of their HP by himself, but if one of their attacks in slot 1 had been a super, then he obviously wouldn't have done all of that damage. But you know, that's the RNG factor for these bosses that have these super attack effects. Good old Gohan getting the key requirement but not getting an additional super. Alright, so Gogeta in slot 3, he's got guard on the first turn. Get him floated off here. Because realistically, Gogeta, like mine's only 55%, but Gogeta is kind of on the team for the healing once he's transformed, and then obviously the active skill being another target ability. So by running double Beast Gohan and having Gogeta on the team, we have 3 target abilities on the team. So I'm going to do this, because whilst it's like more beneficial for it's more beneficial for Gohan to get hit first to get that extra buff, especially with mine being at 55%. AGL UI Goku has a 100% chance to dodge on turn 1, so if these guys were going to super in slot 1, then rather than Beast Gohan having his damage nerfed by getting sealed, AGL UI Goku just dodges. But yeah, obviously the big thing when it came to making this team, which I would have talked about in the first section of the video, but I didn't want to just run all of the same Reps of Universe 7 characters. So I know some people, like, for you, your optimal build of superhero might be using a bunch of the Reps of Universe 7 characters. But because we want to run Beast Gohan as both the slot 1 units, I wanted to try and bring units that work well, like, with him. And AGL UI Goku does share 4 links with him and does get his 200% leader skill. Blue Evolution Vegeta doesn't link as well with him and only gets his 170 lead. So even though he's obviously very good and can still be very good on the team, I wanted to try and bring like a full superhero team with as many characters getting like the full buff as possible. So I mean, again, you guys can let me know down below in the comments what you think is the most optimal superhero team. But the only character that we're using that is like a crossover between both teams is the AGL UI Goku. So you go first. So I guess we had STR Gogeta was in slot 7. He's a unit that can still be very useful, especially in situations like this where like the boss will be dead before they even get a chance to attack Gogeta. So of course in slot 3 he gets that extra dodge chance, but if he doesn't dodge then he could get killed potentially. But in a situation like this, the boss is probably going to be dead before they get a chance to attack at the end of the turn anyway. And then of course the next time he comes back, he'll be transforming and has a 100% chance to dodge on that turn. So triple super turn from Gohan, that's what we like to see. Actually get some supers, get that build up. And then the friend beast, of course not being hit first, doesn't do as much damage, but we are of course saving the... I say it doesn't do as much damage and he still comes in and kills them anyway, but we'll be saving the active skills for a little bit later on. So now we'll go ahead and transform with Gogeta here. Float him off, but we'll get the active the next time he comes back. I'm not going to use the active skill with UI because it's definitely don't need to use it this early. And then grab those for you. So full 24 key supers for this turn. Yeah, the fact that Beast Gohan and the AGL UI Goku share 4 links I think is good enough for a decent rotation. I'd still love to see, like, you know, that hasn't happened in the manga or anything, so it would be very much be a Dokkan original, but I still would love to see a Beast Gohan and UI Goku, like, joint forces card. That'd be awesome. But yeah, Beast just eating double-digit damage from the Gogeta Super. So he should be good then for the rest of the turn. I mean, physical Gogeta, the downside to having physical Gogeta floated and then transforming him straight away is obviously that means he doesn't get any extra stacks of defense from his 18 key super in base. But obviously he's going to super multiple times. He has pretty good raw defense after supering and then has a 70% chance to dodge. So I think even if he doesn't dodge at the end here, he should still tank the normals relatively well. Because, of course, having AGL UI Goku on the team means that we do have access to his revival, although, of course, his is a bit trickier than Blue Evolution Vegeta because it is HP based. So we won't get it if we start the turn with too much HP. But, yeah, I was going to say, we don't need to worry about Gogeta getting killed here anyway, because we're not surviving the end of that turn. Now, this is a turn where things could be a little bit awkward, but I think what we probably do here... Now, the question is, do we save... We can either use... I don't want to use Beast Gohan's active skill yet, although we could save the Piccolo giant form for the last phase, because then that gets rid of the AoEs. This is the reason why Piccolo can still be incredibly good. So, in fact, I think I will use one of these now and save the... Because Beast Gohan, you got to remember, when it comes to the AoEs... the target ability doesn't remove the AoEs, so other people will still get hit on the rotation. Whereas on this turn, we use it, no one else can get hit. And then we'll do this. And then, yeah, once we get to STR Blue Gogeta, that's when we use the giant form with Piccolo. And so then that will remove his super for the turn and the AoE. And then that obviously helps to protect some of these weaker units a little bit, which is really good. Yeah, I forgot this guy can be attack lowered as well. It's this guy and the final phase. So, but yeah, Beast's going to take all the hits here, which means he's going to get built up. He took 5 hits before he attacked, so he's got a 100% chance to crit. 21 mil attack stat with the unit super with Piccolo, and then all the links from Physical Gohan in slot 3. I do love that unit super, the double special beam cannon. And then his additional 16.2. I mean, 17 and Golden Frieza are very good. Normally, they're only available with yellow coins, which I know not a lot of players are going to be getting those anymore, especially because most banners, like the yellow coin banners, don't give those out now, unless you summon, do get the unit early and then trade in the pity coins for yellow coins. But because of that weird banner that is out now with the 17s on it, I think you can get the 17 in Frieza and the Team Universe 7 with red coins. I don't know if I would say it is super. I guess it depends how many coins you have, because obviously the future targets for red coins should be Beast Gohan, Broly, Tech UI. But I mean, if you have tons of coins and can spare some, then 17 and Frieza are very good. But well, this is a turn. I mean, I guess there's no reason not to do this, right? Because even though Beast, like, we could put Gogeta in slot 1 and have a 100% chance to dodge, but we just don't really need to. Just do that. Gogeta gets extra key in slot 3 as it is anyway. Yeah, let's see how much damage Beast Gohan takes here. Gogeta has been attack lowered as well, but yeah, 67k, and that's my Beast Gohan is 55%. So this is the thing, right? The superhero team is largely carried on Beast Gohan's back, but like some of the other units on the team, you kind of are bringing them specifically for their utility and like their special abilities, and then Beast Gohan does most of the work, like both defensively and offensively, because he's going to finish off Gogeta here. And then this puts us in line for what we wanted from this last phase, where we're now going to be up against the STR Blue Gogeta. We can use the giant form for Piccolo. Although there's no AoE, so there's actually no point even using it now. But what that means we can do is this. So we can target ability with Gogeta in slot 3. Well, there's no AoE on the first turn. That's really, really lucky, and not something that happens all the time. But as you can see, like on this turn, we had the countermeasures for both scenarios anyway, because if there was the AoE on this turn, we would just use the giant Piccolo thing. But obviously now we don't have to, so we're just going to go ahead and do this. Beast Gohan gets his unit super again, and then Gogeta is going to take all of the attacks, but just dodge all of them. And then we're all good. But yeah, like I say, AoEs aren't affected by the target mechanics, so if he was doing the AoE on this turn, we would just use the giant Piccolo thing, which we now still have as well. So that's where we're completely covered with all of these special abilities that these characters have, right? Gogeta having the target ability, Piccolo having the giant form. We've used this Beast Gohan's target ability, but we've used it because we had that backup from Piccolo. So now on the next turn, with my Beast Gohan, he still has his target ability. So the only thing that would be risky is the AoEs on the next turn, potentially. But with the fact that STR Gogeta can be attack lowered, we've hit him with 1 already. The issue, I guess, will be target ability on the next turn, potentially, because of having Physical Gohan on the rotation. Could actually be really awkward, but we can use his active skill as well, so he will get a little bit of a boost. Kind of depends on the turn where the AoE is going to be as well. But That's kind of one of those RNG things where sometimes you can just get very unlucky. Like the AoE could be in slot 1, and then that would be super awkward. But if it's the first attack of slot 1, that would actually be kind of good, because we can use Beast Gohan or Physical Warmer Gohan's active skill, which is an action break. So sometimes the RNG can work out in your favour in that way, but we'll see. Oh, so he's just not AoEing on the second turn either. Well, there you go. All Beast Gohan's links active. I'm sure people will just complain now that we got way too lucky for this run, but because yeah, now we just use all the active skills because there's no reason not to. But yeah, the only way we come undone on this turn is the AoE being in slot 1 would potentially kill Physical Gohan, because that's the only thing you can't get away with the target ability. We weren't on low enough HP to have UI Goku's revival, because obviously that would be a counter if we were on low enough HP at the start of the turn. Then if Physical Gohan dies to Gogeta's AoE, we just get the UI revival, and then on the next turn we'd have that giant form. So, I mean, this is the thing, right? Like I say, Beast Gohan does a lot of the heavy lifting, and then you can bring these other units that have these really useful abilities. Because even though it doesn't do a lot of damage, like Physical Gohan having that action break on his active skill can be very useful, because Gogeta does super in slot 1 a lot. So the fact that he hasn't supered here at all yet means that potentially he was supering as the first attack of the turn, and the Physical Gohan active skill then removed that, and then Beast comes in and finishes him off. So there you go, the superhero team versus Blue Gogeta. Nice and easy, one and done, and we will move on to the Beast Gohan stage. Okay, so moving on to Beast Gohan. We had a good showing with the Blue Gogeta stage. Now we have got double Beast Gohan on turn 1, which is always super annoying, but I guess, you know, we've got no choice here but to make do. So we'll go ahead and do this. Grab as many orbs as we can for you. It's going to get extra key when Beast Gohan gets hit anyway, so everyone should actually be at 24 key for the turn. The Physical Gohan can be attack lowered, because in certain events this would be a really annoying start, because we don't have a super tanky slot 1 unit for the next turn. LR Piccolo is one of those characters that's kind of still hanging on into this team. I know a lot of people, when the anniversary was drawing to a close on JP with all these big new units, essentially was saying that even though Piccolo is still pretty good, he's lost his spot on the superhero team. But I feel like he kind of still manages to hold on to a spot here for some of these events for 2 reasons. First of all, the unit super for Beast Gohan. Whilst it's not needed, it's a nice little extra boost. The action break is nice. You know, there's not really any reason like you need it, because in terms of the amount of damage that you're going to do and everything, like the actual attack raising effects and stuff like that, they're no different to the normal super version, but still cool to have it. And then of course the giant form, you still can't overlook how ridiculously good the giant form is. Like, we just did the Gogeta run, we didn't need to use it because of the way the attacks were laid out at the very end, which is very lucky, I know. But of course they can come in very, very handy. And then of course you use, when you get to the end game, the idea is you use the giant form to maybe cancel out a turn completely from the enemy from doing anything particularly serious to you. And then for the rest of the fight after that, you should then have Beast Gohan's ability ready, so that then they can keep Piccolo protected, right? Because Piccolo's going to float off once it gets a bit later into the fight, and he would be a bit more of a defensive liability, and then he'll end up just getting protected by Beast Gohan's active skill or Gogeta's active skill, depending on how things turn out. Now, when it comes to these final 2 fights of the Blue Zone, I've mentioned it before, but a lot of people at the end of the anniversary were saying that Gogeta's the hardest boss because his super attack hits really hard, his post-super normals hit hard, and then of course he does an AoE. But I feel like he doesn't have a huge amount of HP. I think I said this at the end of the Gogeta clip. I recorded that a bit earlier this morning on stream, hence why the overlay is different. But Gohan can be super annoying because he has the dreaded, most annoying ability in the entire game, which is of course the rotation locking when you get to the final phase. And I mean, unless we are then using our active skill abilities with Gohan, you know, you could then be stuck in a really terrible situation where the wrong unit is going to be eating a super attack and there's not really a huge amount you can do about it. So yeah, this is not a great turn for Gohan here, thanks to the lack of ki. At least UI Goku, I didn't even realise, of course, UI Goku was in slot 7. That's why we had no major slot 1 units on the previous turn. UI Goku, of course, has a 100% chance to dodge on his first turn, so we don't need to worry about him in slot 3. And then we don't really need to worry about Beast Gohan here either, to be fair. And at least this Gohan phase, we're not yet at the point where he's stunning or sealing. I forget which one it is that he does. Either way, whichever one it is, Beast Gohan can tank it when we're in the last phase, but it then stops him from being able to do his damage, which is annoying. I feel like these types of bosses are now the most annoying, because they do decent amount of damage with their attacks, but they also stop your slot 1 unit from essentially being able to do like a considerable amount of damage, which is of course not what you want. So, but yeah, physical Ultimate Gohan is another unit that can potentially be a liability against some of these bosses. He does have guard for the first 2 turns, so he's okay here. And then of course once his guard wears out, that's when we're kind of relying on the Beast Gohan target ability to keep him safe as well. Obviously the turn where he can use his active skill can be very useful because it's an action break, gives him his buffs regardless of how much ki you then get. And of course against some of these bosses that very often super attack you as the first attack of the turn, active skills that are an action break are really useful, because if you action break away that super, you don't need to worry about your unit in slot 1 getting sealed or stunned. So that definitely works out very nicely. So now we're all set up here. We'll float off Gogeta just so we can get the transformation with... I mean, he's going to transform on his next turn anyway, so I suppose maybe... Do we keep him here? I guess we could. Means we're just getting that active skill turn ready a little bit earlier, so that's probably the best idea. I don't think he even really needs to get an additional here, so we'll do this and then do this. Give Piccolo the orbs, juice up the Dokkan gauge a little bit. Because yeah, my Beast Gohan only 55%, the friend one is Rainbow. I didn't actually check the friend's one's link, so I'm going to assume link level 10. I don't know. I feel like if you have Rainbow Beast Gohan set as your friend, at this point, he should definitely be fully link leveled, but you never know. So we get the crit, we get the action break. Beast Gohan, of course, as long as he gets hit a few times while his intro buff is still active, he very easily gets to having guaranteed crits. And then, of course, on the active skill turn, depending on where you put him in the rotation, he's going to get hit so many times that he very easily will get the... very easily get guaranteed crit. So, yeah, keep Gogeta on rotation simply because we want to get him transformed into blue as quickly as possible. The fact that he heals at the start of the turn for the 2 turns after you transform is really useful as well. I feel like that's an ability that people don't talk about as much because it is really, really useful. Of course, not getting the Rainbow Orb that would have given us the guaranteed additional super comes back to bite us here. But Gogeta does still have guard, so it's not a crazy amount of damage. And of course, the good thing about this is that we take out Gohan here with Piccolo, and now we're on low enough HP that we have UI Goku's revival condition actually met. So depending on how this rotation locking goes for this next turn, that could actually be super beneficial for us to be on that lower HP thanks to Gogeta eating that super attack. So we'll see how this works out here. So you're going to transform. Okay, so Beast is locked in the middle, which is fine. So really, I guess... See, I could use the active skill here, but... If we even have it ready, which we do. But I could use the active skill here, but essentially I could just leave Gogeta in slot 1, and he has guaranteed dodge. And then on the next turn, I could use Beast Gohan's active skill, because then that means I don't have to worry about anyone in slot 1 getting stunned or sealed, because obviously he's going to dodge the attack regardless. So if I do this, is this going to connect? Yeah, there you go. Those greens have connected a little bit. There we go. Get 24 ki for physical Ultimate Gohan. Keep his active skill on the back burner as well in case we need it, because again, it's an action break for an attack, the first attack of the turn, which could be very useful for an upcoming turn. Of course, though, on this turn, when we purposely have played around it, which I think, you know, that's a good play, he didn't super in slot 1, because of course he didn't. So we could have just put Beast, well, Beast we couldn't put in slot 1 anyway. Still probably not a good idea to put Gohan in slot 1 because his guards run out at this point. So realistically, having Gogeta in slot 1 here is the play, unless you use Beast Gohan's target ability. But man, Gogeta just did no damage. He's effective against all types, and yeah, there we go. Finally, we do some damage. He didn't super, so is he actually going to just super Beast Gohan, or is he not going to super at all? I swear, after the luck we had with the superhero run for one of the teams against Gogeta with no AoEs, I think it was the superhero, right, where he did no AoEs, and now Beast Gohan doesn't super on the first turn. The luck is just rigged for the superhero team. That's crazy. Alright, so now on this turn, we have the revival active. Beast is locked in the middle. We've got all the active skills here, so we can active skill with you. Active skill with you. No reason not to, really. And then, I guess, it's one of those things I could take the risk for Goku not dodging and then we just get the revival. Which, I mean, I guess is probably the safer thing to do, because UI Goku getting the dodges, getting his full passive built up here, is obviously very beneficial for us. So if we go ahead and do that, then we could potentially do a lot of damage on this turn. And of course, worst case scenario, he doesn't dodge, we just get the revival instead. So nice, there we go. AGL UI Goku showing out, that's what we like to see. And then a 12.9, so basically 13 million attack stat here. And post super, he should just eat normals regardless. Although he's already dodged enough times that I think he just can't get touched now anyway. So GG, I guess. Beast Gohan definitely getting rolled over by the superhero team here. You'd love to see it. Both times he's locked the Beast Gohan in slot 2 as well. And both times we didn't need to use the security of that active skill. I mean, the thing is, using the active skill for Beast Gohan obviously then makes it so that he gets hit a bunch of times. You know, here he obviously doesn't have his get hit before he attacks buff. The problem is, of course, is that one of those attacks was the super. So this is what I talked about a little bit in the Reps of Universe 7 video, is that, you know, whilst Beast Gohan can tank all of these big boss attacks and we don't need to rely on dodging, if he gets hit by the super from Beast Gohan, then it doesn't matter that he then soaks up all those attacks for the turn, gets all those buffs, gets guaranteed crits. He then isn't going to be doing a super attack, which is annoying. So yeah, Blue Gogeta here, doing no damage if he doesn't crit. Oh, there we go. Getting a little bit of extra attack going on there. Right, so we've got a couple of different ways we could do this here. I mean, the best way, honestly, to do this is going to be active skill with you. Although, I wonder, it does save the thing, right? So active skill with you in slot 3. I believe it still keeps that, like, in mind for the fact that we're then going to Giant Form with Piccolo. I could just active skill with Beast, but the thing is, if I active skill with Beast, then again, he could just get hit by a super in slot 1 and then get sealed, which means he's not doing a lot of damage. And so yeah, this is why, as I was saying before, this is why I think Piccolo still kind of has a spot on the team, is because now we're going to be able to cancel out the super attack, because now once the Giant Form ends, Beast Gohan's already supered during the Giant Form, which means he can't super afterwards, which means when we come out of the Giant Form, then we pop the STR Beast Gohan active skill, which means he will then take all the attacks of the turn, but we know that none of them are going to be a super attack, so he's not going to get sealed or stunned, and then he's going to be able to do big damage. So that should then be the final turn, but we'll see how we get on. I'll probably float Piccolo, because now that we're using the active skills, obviously we're going to have less opportunities to keep him defended. Plus we did float off physical Blue Gogeta, so having them both together on the same turn for the links, if the event lasts that many more turns, which it probably doesn't, but still good to plan ahead in terms of how you want your rotations to be, even if the fight is going to end up being over by then. The only times you don't need to do that is when it's obviously like very clearly the last turn. You don't need to worry about what your next rotation would look like. Now, of course, the only downside is even critting, like Orange Piccolo isn't doing any damage. So this is something that we talked about in the past with Orange Piccolo. And it's one of the reasons why a lot of the times in older videos, I've like deliberately not used his giant form, even though it would guarantee the win. Because then at the end of the video, it's just a case of, oh, well, we'll take a risk and see what happens. Because otherwise we transform into the giant form and then we spend the next like 3 or 4 minutes of the video just doing no damage, watching Orange Piccolo's super attack animation over and over again. But the thing is, like, I only think about that in terms of like for the video, in terms of how long the video is going to run, the fact that, you know, the Orange Piccolo turns are kind of, you know, nothing exciting to watch. But when it comes to the point of what we're trying to do, which is, you know, can this team beat the hardest events in the game in a tidy fashion, then obviously this ability is ridiculously powerful. Because cancelling out the enemy's super attack, especially in an event like this where it does stun or seal your slot 1 unit, is really, really powerful, because we combo that, as we've already said, with now using Beast Gohan's active skill. And it means he's going to soak up all the attacks for the turn, but we know that none of them are going to be super attacks. So he's not going to be able to, he's not going to get stopped from doing all the big damage. And of course, in typical fashion, we end up getting the 3 turns, which I did not want. Because unfortunately, you get so much extra ki. I was kind of hoping we could just maybe only get normal attacks and make it go a little bit faster, because it'd be alright if he was chipping away at his health bar a little bit, but none of his attacks, even if they're critting, are even doing any damage to Gohan here. So it's not like they have any extra effects or anything, like any permanent lasting stacks or debuffs or anything like that. So every single one of these Orange Piccolo attacks is just time wasted. But the point is the end result, right? Which is, of course, then Beast Gohan being unable to super, which is huge, because whilst it won't necessarily make the difference between winning or losing, right? Because if we pop Beast Gohan's active skill and then he gets supered by this Beast Gohan, we're not going to die. It's just the fact that he then gets sealed, and then potentially nobody else on the turn really does that much damage. That's the main issue. But, oh well, yeah, you're locked in slot 1 anyway, so. Alright, so now we pop the active skill for Beast Gohan. All the attacks are going to be on him for the turn. We're not going to get supered, so we know we don't need to worry about him getting sealed or anything. So we go ahead and do this. I'm not going to be able to drop down any of these reds so they're like next to each other, am I? But, I mean, Gogeta has tons of ki anyway, so I guess it's fine. Plus Piccolo's not going to get hit because of the target ability. Gohan's going to get hit, which gives everybody ki though. So what's kind of funny about that is that Piccolo's in slot 1, and because Gohan got hit first and gave everyone ki, he got extra ki before he attacked, which is kind of funny. So, and hey, he actually did some damage. Let's go. The 12 ki is only a 6.8 though, so will this do damage if it doesn't crit? Oh, well, we crit anyway, so let's go. So Beast taking all these hits, and then it's his turn. This is the Rainbow Friend, so 16.3 million with the Piccolo unit super. And it's very possible that this is going to be all she wrote here when it comes to Beast, because he'll get the guaranteed additional as well. And then I don't know what the Friend's build is, but of course we have the chance for the Friend to do another super after that. And then even if he survives all of that, STR Gogeta in slot 3 at 24 ki will easily finish him off here. So, I mean, I feel like you can see, even though we didn't get to use it against Gogeta, you can see the value of having Piccolo on the superhero team still, because of how strong that giant form ability can be. It basically guaranteed that we killed Gohan on this turn, because he was unable to stun or seal our Beast Gohan. So, there you go. It works out very nicely. Gogeta finishing off Beast Gohan, and then we can move on to the Cell Max Stage 2. Okay, so the final test, the final part of the video here for the superhero team is going to be the Cell Max Stage 2. This event certainly is quite difficult, right? Like, this event can hit you incredibly hard. Do we go for this, or do we go for you here? He does super attack in slot 1 a lot, but I think I probably want to try out this just in case. Do this. Get the unit super here for Gohan, and then do this. Get Gogeta floated off so we can potentially transform him as soon as he comes back for the first time. Now, the thing with the Cell Max event is it's one of those things where it does get easier after the first few turns, because then you're able to actually apply a bunch of these status effects to him. So I feel like with Cell Max, the real trick is surviving these early turns, like this initial gauntlet against him. And then once you get past that, it's considerably easier. So we'll see how we get on. Like, we have a few characters on the team that can lower attack. Piccolo can stun on his 12 key super, which Cell Max becomes like available to be stunned after the first couple of turns have passed as well. So it'll be interesting to see how that pans out. And then of course physical Gogeta, we have guard for the first couple of turns. We'll flow him off so that we can transform, because we want to take advantage of his target ability straight away. But that's, I mean, one of the reasons you've seen from the previous 2 runs, but like, it's just one of the reasons why the superhero team is so good, is Beast Gohan is the best unit on the team by a pretty considerable margin, right? Especially considering he's still most likely the best unit in the game. But then all these other characters, whilst they might not be on the same power level as Gohan, they have all these useful abilities, like Gogeta's target ability, Piccolo's giant form, and then obviously Beast Gohan using his target ability to like keep these guys protected essentially. God damn, 570k from, of course he's supered in slot 3. The number of times I do this stage and he supers in slot 1. Alright, so I'm going to keep you here just because obviously you can't take damage if you're not in a slot where you're being attacked. I don't really want to keep him on rotation, but for the sake of like not taking a load of damage at the end of the turn, because I'm pretty sure this guy in base, like if he doesn't dodge even a normal attack from Cell Max, we're talking like 500k. So we'll go ahead and do this. Because he's on turn 2, so we'll see how we get on and potentially have to float him if there is a free spot available the next time around. But UI Goku, of course, 100% chance to dodge on the first turn. We don't ideally want to float him off here, because I would really want our rotations to be Beast Gohan and UI, and then Beast Gohan and Physical Ultimate Gohan. Physical Ultimate Gohan, it seems like, was in slot 7, so he'll be on the rotation with the other Beast Gohan. I'm just going to have to potentially float him off, but we'll see how we go. I mean, I could already, the thing is, because we're trying to wear out the turns until Cell Max becomes weaker, it might be better actually to just on the next turn, because we'll have a full superhero rotation so we can use it straight away, just use the Giant Piccolo transformation. Well, actually, what's the turn restriction for his heal and then extra damage reduction? Because we're already on like 25% HP here. So interestingly enough, we could get that on the next turn. I can't remember what the turn restriction is for it, but it'll be kind of funny to get that. Alright, so a couple of extra attacks off here with UI Goku. He can't be touched. And then we go into turn 3. Alright, well, it's not turn 3. I mean, we have the target ability already, but I don't know if I want to use that yet. We can't apply status effects to him yet. Although I probably do want to use it, since I have to float off Gohan here. So that means we can just save the giant form for the next time. Although, awkwardly enough, like him getting hit with a super hit would be really bad. Because, I mean, what we could do is giant form, and then just like we did against Beast Gohan, we giant form and then we target ability afterwards. So we could do this. Get some HP back here by doing this. Then go ahead and do this. Get the giant form. Now against Cell Max, we're probably not going to do a lot of damage. He has a lot of defense, and as we said, like each of his HP bars is like 30 million health. So even getting like a 10 million damage crit, like off of some of these characters, you're taking off a third of his health bar. And Orange Piccolo is doing 177 damage on a non-crit. Hey, at least that's more than the 0 he was doing against Beast Gohan, eh? So, and if we crit, we at least do a little bit. The tiniest sliver of health, but you know. But this is where the Piccolo thing, as I was explaining in the Beast Gohan run, I mean, I'm sure that you guys know at this point anyway, but now we've used the giant form, this is where afterwards we would potentially be at risk for Piccolo being a bit of a liability, but we have the target abilities now to keep ourselves potentially safe. I might even deliberately once Piccolo's next on rotation, Cell Max will be at the point where he can actually be stunned. So I'll probably just deliberately get the 12 key super with Piccolo and just try and stun him. And then that could potentially just seal the deal for us right there. So hopefully we don't get the 3 turns of the giant form again, but we'll see what happens. Man, he'd be taking 1,000,000 damage normals. That's crazy. Alright, so obviously we get the second turn. Just do this. Alright, so please no third turn. And of course we'll have Gogeta coming back on the next turn, and we can transform him into Blue Gogeta. If we've got a Beast Gohan active skill ready for that turn, then obviously we can potentially keep Gogeta on rotation, because then the next turn we'll have his one ready to go as well. So yeah, things are looking pretty good here. Because that's the thing, for Beast Gohan, even like this is one of the few events where Beast Gohan you can actually see him take a lot of damage. Like mine is at 55%. If he takes a super straight away as like the first attack of the turn in slot 1, he takes over 300k, which I think this is one of the only events where I've seen him take that kind of damage. Obviously pre-super he's going to take more damage, you know, anyway in most situations, but still for a lot of the game and a lot of the events, I still see my 55% Beast Gohan still eating attacks for double-digit damage. But Cell Max hitting you before he gets a chance to super, or before he gets hit at least once to get that extra buff. Like, he can do a lot of damage to you. So, alright, so we're going to float off. Yeah, we're actually going to float off Gohan, aren't we? Because we need to, because we've got UI coming around onto this rotation. So we'll do this, and then we go ahead and see, now he can be attack lowered. He can't be stunned yet, but he can be attack lowered. So we go ahead and use the active skill for Beasts, because we know we're not going to get supered on this turn. And then we can grab these. I'm not going to use the active skill for physical Gohan yet. In case we do get another turn with him on, we can use it then, because then potentially that could action break away a slot 1 super. And now Beast Gohan's going to get hit a bunch of times, get his buffs, and then we should be good to go. And then on the next turn, this will be interesting for Piccolo, because of course the next time this rotation comes around, we'll have Piccolo with Beast Gohan, but no giant form and no target ability. So, I mean, if our health remains this low though, we'll have UI Goku on the rotation with his revival ability active. So that's why the superhero team is just so nutty. When you consider, like, we've got all these target abilities, we've got Piccolo's giant form, and then you consider throwing in the 6th anniversary LRs with their EZAs, and the fact that you then have revivals possible on the team as well. It all just becomes insane, the amount of stuff that you can be doing. So yeah, so we've got an action break, which doesn't really matter too much. Take all of the hits there for double-digit damage. Then we got Ultimate Gohan. I think is it his 18 key or his 12 key the lowest attack? It is the 18 key. Okay, so that's good. Get an attack lower on Cell Max here. Getting those in nice and early is always good. Now that he can be attack lowered. And then we're on to the next turn. Blue Gogeta transforming, so of course 100% chance to dodge. So this is where I consider, do I use Beast Gohan's active skill? Because, ooh, no, I'm probably not going to need to, am I? Because if I do this, like, yeah, if I do this, then we're going to get our pre-super buff. Well, the friend one isn't rainbow. Crazy. And then, yeah, the STR Gogeta in slot 3 has guaranteed dodge this turn, so he can't take damage anyway. So we'll do this, and do this. So you can get into a lot of these like situations with this team where multiple situations just present themselves where you just won't take damage for the turn, depending on where the enemy attacks are. Because if there was an attack in the middle, in slot 2, then we could consider, okay, do we need to use Beast Gohan's target ability, because otherwise physical Gogeta in the middle, if that 70% dodge chance fails and that attack in the middle ends up being a super, we'll be dead. So maybe we should go ahead and use the target ability for Beast Gohan. But because the rotation worked out like this, where there are no attacks in the middle, Physical Gogeta's not getting attacked. STR Gogeta has a 100% chance to dodge, and Rainbow Friend Beast Gohan post Super isn't going to die to a super attack from Cell Max. And as you saw, it was the first attack of the turn, and we didn't die. So that's the thing, you kind of just need to survive until you get to this point where now we can start having these status effects and stuff like that, and then we're going to have a bit of an easier time. Because of course on this rotation next time around, we'll have Gogeta's target ability. So we've got Gogeta's and Gohan's though. We kind of ended up in the opposite way round, because of course on this next rotation upcoming, we don't have Beast Gohan's active skill, we don't have Piccolo's giant form, and we won't have the revival for Goku because we're starting to turn on too much HP. So actually, the next rotation could be kind of dangerous for us, but it all depends whether, like, where the attacks are. If Piccolo comes in clutch with a stun on that 12 key super, then that could be GG right there. So, alright, so we'll go ahead and do this. Do a bit of extra damage, not a lot, but Beast Gohan. See, my Beast Gohan only at 327. You're at 572. It's definitely a risky turn, I think, but we'll go ahead and do this. And then I've got to remember, Beast Gohan's going to get hit and give everyone 3 key. So we need to make sure we don't get too much key for Piccolo. There we go, so he can still get his 12 key super and potentially stun. Cell Max's attack lowered, and now UI Goku gets to attack first. So I think from full HP, AGL UI Goku would live a super from Cell Max. But bear in mind, because he's dodged once already, he now has an over 80% chance to dodge. So I think we should be fine. And then Beast Gohan, my one, even like with mine being the lower dupe level post super, we're still on turn 5, so he should be fine. Now of course the only downside here is if Piccolo doesn't stun and then he gets hit with a super, like Piccolo could potentially take quite a bit of damage here. It's a shame they didn't add like attack lowering or something to the Beast Gohan unit super. That would be cool. But I mean, he already does enough, right? I can't really complain that he doesn't have attack lowering as well. But but yeah, can Piccolo get the stun? Because if he does, we're in the clear now. But if he doesn't, like, he might actually die, which would be not ideal. That's why we should try and save the Beast Gohan active skill for these kind of turns. See, he wasn't fully built up, so each hit he took less damage. That was definitely a very close one. So I think what we'll do for this turn is we will save... we'll save the Beast target ability because... Well, I suppose we did get a decent heal because of Gogeta. I was going to say if he gets immediately supered, that would be bad. But this is where we kind of have a lot of room to play with what we want to do. So I think we'll go ahead and use Gogeta's target ability and then just float him off. Because then we still have Beast Gohan's one ready to use if we need it. And then I think we probably will not use your active skill, just so we keep building it up in case we do get around to this rotation again and we want to use it again. Because that's the thing, Gohan, as he builds up, obviously, is that's going to make his active skill do more damage. It's the reason why, like, people would do physical Ultimate Gohan's active skill immediately the turn it was available and then complain that it doesn't do damage. But obviously, he's a unit that builds up attack, like, the more attacks that he does. So the more you wait to do his active skill, the more damage it can do. And, of course, Gohan can stun on his 12 key super, so... There's Cell Max stun, meaning the target ability for Gogeta essentially wasted. But as we saw with Piccolo not stunning last time, you can't rely on the stun to like guarantee you're going to get the W, right? Because as we saw that last time with Piccolo, sometimes you don't get that stun. And then if he'd been fully built up with the damage he took from the first hit, we would have been dead. But fortunately, as he wasn't fully built up, we took less damage with each hit and were able to survive the turn. But there you go. So Gohan stunning Cell Max here probably clears the path to victory. Although, I mean, he's still got a lot of... This guy has so much health. He's probably going to live the next turn as well, to be fair. So we still have to worry about keep on surviving, I guess. But We can definitely do a lot of damage on this turn. We have the Kamehameha ready, so he's still stunned, so I don't need to worry about, we'll do it in slot 3 so he gets the extra dodge chance, because that doesn't matter. Yeah, you don't get any extra links. Oh, you get Kamehameha, I guess, but we do want you floated. Do you get any extra links from Blue Gogeta? Okay, no, you don't, so we'll put you in slot 1. That's fine then. So we'll do that, and then grab those. So we should be able to do a pretty solid bit of damage here. Gogeta gets extra ki when he attacks, so he should be able to... Everyone's at 24 ki for the turn. The only downside, of course, to the enemy being stunned is the fact that Beast Gohan not getting hit first means he doesn't get all those extra buffs, and mine being 55% and having no additional means that he can't actually get a second super attack. But we'll be able to do a decent bit of damage here with AGL UI Goku. And then next turn we have Beast Gohan's active and we're on 4 HP, so he should be able to eat a super even if it's the first attack of the turn. Because the next one... Wait, is this one on my is this one on this rotation my one? Yeah, so the next one is the rainbow one. Now obviously with his intro buff having worn off, he does have less defense, but as long as he takes a hit or two before he takes the super, he should be fine. And of course, we can use Physical Gohan's active skill, which might action break away a super. So we'll be able to do a lot of damage on the next turn. Physical, when you use the active skill, because it gives him all the effects of basically having 24 ki, it also means that Physical Gohan's effective against all types. So he should be able to do a decent bit of damage between the two of them, right? So we can go ahead and do this, do this, do this. Still doesn't do a lot of damage, but hey, what can you do? Right, so we do that. Doesn't matter that we're not getting a lot of ki because he has all the effects as if we had 24 ki because we're using the active skill, so he can still get the additional super. So he should be okay. So Beast gets hit, then you get to attack. I mean, again, we could still see the same thing happen where Gohan just does an additional super and stuns him with his 12 ki, but he also still attack lowers on the 18 ki, which is still very useful. Every one of those is, of course, making Cell Max just that little bit less able to do damage to our units. And then, yeah, we got an additional normal. But that's the thing, Beast is taking a couple more hits, so now we're very likely to get crits. We're still getting the unit super, so we're at 18.3 million now. Hopefully, this one's gone on quite long, considering just how tanky Cell Max is. And Beast Gohan is your main damage dealer. When comparing this to the Reps of Universe 7 run against Cell Max, you've got like everyone on the team is dropping 20+ million attack stats, right, pretty much. So it's not just Beast carrying the damage. So I feel like, especially against Cell Max here, for this superhero team, it's a lot slower of a run with this team, because you're pretty much just relying on Beast Gohan to do all of the damage. And of course, we're not going to finish him off this turn either, which means we still have to then be able to survive the next turn. Maybe Piccolo could get an additional and stun him here, that would be good. I probably should have tried to go for the 12 ki for him deliberately as well, but we are getting the additional super. Can we get the stun? Seals the deal if we do, but we do not. Alright, so Beast will just tank everything for the rest of the turn now anyway, even if there is a super incoming. If he doesn't super, I choose to believe that Physical Ultima Gohan action broke away the super at the start of the turn, so we absolutely take those. Although this is where it gets a little bit scary, because 752, you've only got 352. I mean, I guess we just do this, but he's been attack lowered enough that I feel like even if Goku doesn't dodge a super in slot 1, we wouldn't die, but doesn't matter because we dodge it anyway. And then once you've dodged a couple of attacks, you're basically just going to dodge everything. 270k from a normal. Okay, so we absolutely would have died to the super in slot 1 then. Damn. I mean, this is the problem. Wow, really? This is the problem with the Beast Gohan having to be the one to carry the damage. I'd have to go back and check what turn it was that we beat Cell Max Phase 2 with the Reps of Universe 17. But I feel like it took less than 9 turns. So that's the problem. I mean, UI Goku obviously can do a lot of damage himself as well. And it's not like Physical Gogeta and STR Gogeta don't have their turns where they can do a solid amount of damage. I think a lot of the problem comes from turns where you're not able to get Beast Gohan hit straight away as well. Then obviously he doesn't get that damage buff before he attacks. And with the fact that I'm very much aware of how my 55% Beast Gohan can still take big damage from getting hit in slot 1. So sometimes I would be more hesitant to like put him in slot 1, but I guess it depends. Sometimes you can play the risk and get a couple of hits first and then he'll be fine. Sometimes you get hit with the super straight away and take like 350k. So, but fortunately with Gogeta here able to get, he's going to get a minimum 3 supers because we picked up the rainbow orbs. He's effective against all types. Hopefully he will be able to finish him off here. Because funnily enough, if he doesn't and then didn't dodge any of the follow-up attacks, we would potentially die. Although, well, we're at 474. Would we die? Maybe. God, this would be so close. Imagine if we died like right here at the end. It's very possible. Alright, so we get the heal. See, now we've got no active skills or anything available. So this is where Friend Beast Gohan absolutely needs to come in clutch, because we very much could die here if we get immediately supered straight off the bat. I think we actually die if like the first attack of the turn is a super. So we'll see. Remember, as the fight goes on, like Beast Gohan is insane, but as the fight goes on, like 319k when you're on full health is fine, because that's less than half your health. But in a worse situation, that could be very bad for us. But definitely don't underestimate Beast Gohan, that's for sure. So there you go. That was the superhero team versus Cell Max Phase 2. You could probably build a better specific team for Cell Max, but this is what I was saying right at the beginning of the video, is that I wanted to try and make a team build that would be able to beat all 3 of the fights without changing any of the units. So obviously you could build a team that would beat it much quicker than this. But there you go. So that's going to be it for the superheroes versus the 3 toughest stages. Let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. If you've already seen the Reps of Universe 7 video, now let me know which one do you think is the better team out of the 2 when it comes to these 3 tough bosses. I want to do one probably tomorrow for the Tech Vegeta from Saiyan Day team, because that's one of my favourite teams in the game at the moment. So keep an eye out for that one as well. And let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out all the links down below, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.